few years ago, I used these 7 pillars to get me out of a really awful place, and I often return to it because it works so well. It must have been like 6 years ago now. I started with the basics. I started thinking, what is my life lacking? Because I couldn't leave the house. I was crazy social anxious, very depressed. I was in the lowest place I had ever been. That is why I gently introduced these pillars to life and built from there. But if you don't have foundation, if you don't have the pillars, then it's all going to come crashing down. And that is why I want to share this with you guys. You can check in and see if these pillars are there for you, if you have the foundation laid already, or maybe there's a few foundations missing. And also feel free to edit, mix it up, make it your own. But these are the ones that help me get out of a really, really low place and get the momentum going into the direction that has led me to where I am today. So the first key pillar is a clean environment. This is the one that I started with because I felt like if the environment wasn't clean, it wasn't tidy, that wasn't going to help my mind. When we're in a bad mental health state, people talk a lot about improving the mind and working from inwards to outwards. But actually, what I really needed was to work from outwards for it to then impact me inwards. And this is because I felt like that was easier to control and take care of than whatever was going on inside. So if you're in a similar position, this is your sign to start with your environment, with what you can control, and take small actions towards it. I watered my plants weekly, and I started to say that if the plants weren't watered, then that probably meant that I wasn't either. If they weren't taken care of or flourishing, then it meant that probably I wasn't either. It sounds silly, but it works. And the other things is having a cleaning routine, changing the towels once a week, your bed sheets once a week or fortnightly, and putting your clothes away, doing your laundry. That is it. I'd create a structure where I was like, I'm going to stick to once a week. I change my bed sheets, I change my towels, I do my laundry, and I water my plants. And I dust. I clean my bedroom. And at the time I was lucky because I didn't have a whole house to take care of or a whole flat, and it was just my room. But it was a perfect place to start. So maybe if you do have a whole flat, you might want to just start with a room if it's too overwhelming. But having like a routine that you can stick to will ground you so much, because often we feel overwhelmed, anxious, depressed, because there is no structure in our lives to ground us. Yeah, so this is why, in my opinion, this is a key pillar. Second pillar is hygiene and beauty. So that means basics like showering daily. And then you might later add on things like hair mask, dry brush, do your eyebrows, shave. If you're a guy, then I don't know, you do your thing. Every other Sunday to do like a pamper evening, again, a structural process to beauty and maintenance of the physical being, the things outside of yourself. Moisturize after every shower, deodorant, make sure you don't stink. Wash feet at the end of the day and Vaseline them. I know that sounds really weird, but there's something really therapeutic about coming home and washing your feet and moisturizing them after a long, hard day. So those are some ideas for you. But the main thing that I started with was to shower daily because I was really down. So I understand if you're watching this and maybe you're in a really low place that showering is difficult, and that is okay. But I want you to aim for at least once a day. You don't have to be productive. You don't have to achieve all the things in the world today or in the day. But I want you to think about, can I at least shower? Hydration, healthy eating, and movement are all well-being pillars. So they're all kind of one pillar, but I've broken them down as I kind of continued. But when I first started, it was well-being in terms of health. So hydration, eating, movement, environment, hygiene. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's the ones I started with, and that was it. But anything I add on now is just a suggestion. You can keep it as basic as you need it to, or you can add more to it if you're feeling like you can. Or if you continue with the practice, you've built your foundations of what I've just said, and then you might want to add the others. The third pillar is hydration. Make sure you're hydrated. We've all heard it a billion times. You want to have 2.5 to 3 litres of water daily. It's going to be different for everyone depending on your activity levels. You might even want to have more if you're really active, if you sweat more than usual, if it's really hot, like at the moment in the UK, I don't know what's going on. I'm not complaining, but it's like 32 degrees. So it's really important to have your electrolytes and stay hydrated and yeah, take care of yourself in that way. It's a simple thing that you can do, and you can have teas as well, like herbal teas. That also counts. Coffee, not so much because it actually does dehydrate. So it's kind of counterintuitive and it may add to your anxiety if you're in a bit of a shitty place. So we want to create a simple foundation of drink enough water. And if you don't like the taste of water, electrolytes is great, but make sure you don't have more than 2 a day. And also adding lemon or fruit like berries and things like that into your water. And that way you have fruit infused water. Healthy eating. Healthy eating is make sure you have 4 to 5 meals a day. If you struggle to even have 3, let's say 3. So make sure you have regular meals each day. Make sure they're timed. So again, we're adding structure back in, we're adding intention back into our lives and creating a really nice foundation to land in. It feels safe. Structure is a safety net when we're feeling overwhelmed and life is getting a little too much. Focus on adding more color, more vegetables, leafy greens. Fruit is really great, but focus on your vegetables too. This adds fiber to your diet, which is super great for you. Prep your meals once a week if you can, just to take off that stress of having to cook every single day. I'm not a huge lover of cooking. I like to just put things together. It's something that really helps me. You might want to deliver your food online. It's only an additional like £4 or £6. I know it seems like a lot of extra, but actually you're not going to the shop. You're not using all of that time. I don't drive, so it's like carrying everything as well. It's a lot of manual labor to get food. So where you can, order it and let yourself receive. Let yourself have a gift from yourself to relax a little bit, rest a little bit, and take that stress away from you. And Online delivery is great because you can just repeat order and you don't have to like overthink it. And also you're not going to make like random purchases because you can just go, okay, what do I genuinely need? You can write a list and you can just add it to your cart. Movement. So movement, this is what I wrote, which was 2 strength sessions, 1 Pilates fortnightly, 3 runs, and maybe a dance class once a week. Stretching added in after each of those things, and 8K steps. But when you first begin the pillars, I'd focus on the steps, 8 to 10K steps. And that's around 45 minutes to an hour of walking each day. And I would try and do 2 workouts, whether that's a video from online or going to the gym, but just fit something in. And it might even just look like you doing some crunches, some push-ups, getting those, muscles activated. If you guys are interested in a workout routine that you can easily do at home without any weights, then let me know. I can maybe do a video on that. Pillar 4. So after all the health stuff, pillar 4 for me is God. But I want you to hear this as connection to spirituality or your mental health. So this could be things like mindfulness. This could be things like breath work. This could be journaling. This could be, if you are religious, reading your religious text. It could be prayer. It could be affirmations. So whatever that looks like, do that. So set intentions, practice gratitude, do some breath work, and reflect through journaling. These things are really, really key and important. And then I added the next ones on as extra pillars. So those are the key pillars. And then the extra pillars are learning. So that looks like reading or doing a course or listening to a podcast. So I said read after my lunch each day. The next pillar you can have is nature, spending time in nature. So that might mean going for a walk once a day outside and between your breaks, or going for a longer walk once a week and really spending time in nature, sitting in it, breathing it in, and getting outside at least once when at work is what I wrote. So there's different ways of doing it, but making sure you get outside. And sometimes all we really need is a bit of fresh air, and to just close that laptop or switch that phone off. It's very easy for us to just scroll our lives away and to compare and to feel down on about ourselves and anxious because we're like, oh, I haven't done as much as other people. Just get out in nature, go for that walk. And you don't have to do a long walk, just go sit on a bench and watch. That's the real world. And finally, I also wrote play/creativity. So that could look like any creative practice, whether it's painting, crochet, photography. You could play guitar. You could play any instrument. You could skate. You could go cycling. But that also adds to movement, so bonus points. But basically anything where it's a hobby and you do it for fun and it's not for productivity. Play and creativity go hand in hand, because to be creative, we need to play and to not be afraid to fail. And with learning new hobbies and new things, it is so freeing and so good. And actually, when I first started the pillars, I said it was just those few, but actually I did paint as well. And I did painting practice without judgment. I was like, well, maybe this will help. I put out all my paints, blank canvas, well, just a book, and I would just paint the colors on first and not plan what it was gonna become. And I allowed myself to be more like a child and to create without judgment. That is genuinely a practice and something I will probably talk about another time. But those are all of the pillars. I would love to know if you will be working on some of your pillars, bringing them into practice, what's there, what's not, and yeah, let me know if it helps. And it's so good to have some of you joining. I'm so excited to build this amazing community, to grow our best selves together. And it really means a lot to me because when I was in a bad place, I only really had myself, but some of the people I watched online helped me a long way as well. And I hope to be that for you too. So thanks so much. I upload every Sunday, so if you like this video, please subscribe and like this video. It really helps me reach more people like yourself. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.